This is Mindhub with Lauren Ashley, presented by Kokoropsyche, Episode 3. What's up? Welcome back to Mindhub. I'm your host, Lauren, and if you didn't know already, this podcast is filled with 3 main goals. The first one being to wake you up to your world that surrounds you. The second, to help you nurture the connections between your heart, mind, body, and soul. And the third, to instill within you an unwavering faith in your personal power and limitless potential. If that's sounding good to you, then I say let's just get straight into it. Hello. I hope your week has been great. I hope you've been able to accomplish a new goal, set a new boundary for yourself or for someone else. I hope you've been maintaining those positive thoughts while still acknowledging the negative ones, but just not letting them run amok in your mind and in your heart. You know what I mean? And I hope that you're continuously releasing those deeply embedded emotions of fear, doubt, uncertainty from your being, because that will only hold you back. I hope you are undeniably believing in yourself, no matter what the odds look like, no matter what you see. I hope you feel that power that you have and you're using it to your advantage to be the best that you can be, so you may live the life that you know you deserve to live. Because honey, don't we all? Thank you for tuning in, guys. And without further ado, I say let's just go ahead and hop straight into our daily affirmation. So go ahead and take that deep breath in and release. Without fear, without doubt, and without a narrow mind, I am fully stepping into boundless awareness and my unlimited potential. I absolutely love that one. So on this week's episode, Break That Stigma, we're diving straight into what stigma is, how it relates to mental health, and why you need to be ditching it before everyone else does. Don't wait for them to hop on the bandwagon. I say you ditch it right now. All right. And I'm just going to put this out there. Make sure you guys are looking out for the official Kokoropsyche launch date for our website, because there you're going to have so much access to so many free quality resources, online guides, workbooks, planners, and a lot of access to healing that I know you guys will love. But first, it's time for us to hop straight into Off the Chest. So if you're new here, I want to first give you a special welcome and thank you for making that click and tuning into this podcast right here, right now. I'm sending you so much love and light, and you don't even know how much gratitude I have for you. Even if you end up clicking out of here, thank you for even coming here thus far. So Off the Chest is our segment that directly involves our community members, and hopefully soon you too. All you have to do to join is simply follow us on Instagram, and boom, you're a community member. And then when our website launches, you'll be able to create a free community member account where you'll be able to have access to all of our free resources, including our forums. And we'll have a special thread on our website called Off the Chest, where you can anonymously submit any submission you want to say. If you want to describe an accomplishment you have, describe a challenge you've been going through, you want to just feel heard, I get it. And I suggest that you give us a submission, because you might just get featured here. Submissions are received and respected. No topic is unwelcomed. All that we ask is that you remain respectful and keep it 100% real as you get it off the chest. Today, we have an anonymous submission, so a special shout out to you and thank you for your submission. It states, I feel no passion towards anything, and I relate to pretty much no one around me. I barely have friends. I don't know what to do with my life. I don't even know what I want for myself. I feel like a lazy, useless person. I have no dreams, and I just want something to change. My biggest fear is to be or stay a failure. Wow, first of all, I'm sending you so much love. Second of all, you need to understand that you are not alone. You are not alone, and you most certainly are not a failure. If you are still alive, you still have a chance. If you are still breathing, you still have a chance. If you've woken up to a new day, you still have a chance. I think that this segment, but this particular submission goes hand in hand with today's episode of Stigma, because I know what it feels like to be in a state of not wanting to do anything or be anyone and feeling lazy. And in turn, that laziness makes you feel worthless when you look around and you see all these supposed breadwinners or all these people going to school or this, that, and the third. But I want you to know that's why it's so important to never compare yourself, especially in today's world where everybody's only posting the best of their experience, the best of their situation. You don't see those hard times, which is why it's completely important for you to never compare yourself. I understand how it may feel that you don't have anyone around you or no one can relate to you. Perhaps it's time for you to create a new circle. Perhaps it's time for you to completely separate yourself from the circle you have and to become your own circle. It's time for you to dive in. It's time for you to get to know yourself. Who are you? What do you love? What do you hate? Who do you want to become? You don't know? Why don't you know? It's probably because of the models that you see all around you. And you're like, I don't want to be any of that. And that's okay. But it's up to you to decide who you want to be and how you want to be it, because you can do anything you want to do. And guess what? There's no time limit. You don't have to figure it all out today or tomorrow. The key is to never giving up on figuring it out. And also not overindulging or putting too much pressure on yourself to have all the answers, because nobody has all the answers. I know I don't. I personally live in a philosophy where I take things day by day, step by step, and I love spontaneous things while hating it at the same time. I don't like to plan too much, and I also don't like things to be thrown upon me. My point I'm trying to make is you don't have to have all the answers as long as you're willing to look for them. You don't need friends. Friends will come to you. Pay attention to the energy in which you are vibrating, meaning the thoughts that you are telling yourself, the way in which you are behaving. Those things are what will attract the certain type of people into your life. Treat yourself with love, care, understanding, give yourself patience, be kind to yourself, and you will attract those people into your life as well. You will get the right friends at the right time. You will figure out the right answers at the right time. New dreams will be born for yourself in the right time. And change will happen as long as you're willing to keep that door open for it to come. And don't run away when things get uncomfortable, because you can't possibly change without the philosophy of uncomfort. So with much love and light, I'm encouraging you to not give up on finding your true self and being the best that you can be. Thank you for your submission, and thank you for keeping it real. And if any of you would like to be featured, go ahead and send us a DM on Instagram at Kokoropsyche. If you don't feel comfortable sending us a DM on Instagram, hey, I completely get it. Who knows if we're going to, which we wouldn't. I swear to you, we wouldn't. But I get if you would be afraid. I don't know if they're going to screenshot me or whatever. I get it. So when we launch our website, you'll be able to create a free account and you can create a screen name and then you'll be able to post anonymously. Or if you do send us a DM, you can put in caps, request to be anonymous. And on my soul, I promise you, we will not say your @name or your real name because that goes against everything Kokoropsyche stands for. So without further ado, let's get straight into the episode. Break that stigma. All right. So what is stigma? Well, I looked it up because I wanted to get the definition, the, what is it called? The denotation. Like connotation, the denotation. I hope I'm saying that right. I wanted to get the dictionary definition of the word stigma. And I saw that it is defined as a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. Others said something to be ashamed of or lack of approval. So you can only understand and imagine why lately you've been seeing, or I've been seeing over the past couple of years, mental health groups and orgs saying, remove the stigma, because can you really believe, you can, but the fact that people really try to shun the idea of mental health, I just paused for a second because and then they wonder why there's so many broken people walking around. We need to remove that stigma because that prevents people from being comfortable enough to face their challenges and overcome them. It makes them feel like they're alone, as if they're broken, as if something's wrong with them, when there's not. You're not the only one who has intrusive thoughts. You're not the only one who has gone through depression or anxiety or PTSD or trauma. And there are so many different faces for all of these different challenges. They don't look the same. And it is so important to remove that stigma so people can start to feel more comfortable with just seeking help. Even if you don't feel comfortable seeking it from another, seek it for yourself. That's why self-help exists. That's why Kokoropsyche exists. Stigmas, especially stigmas associated with mental health, they're naive. They're judgmental and they're flat out wrong. When you look at how the stigma ties into mental health, you see the perception from society. And society is such a vague word, so we're specifically speaking of the group of people who much rather just act like mental health doesn't exist. When that makes zero sense, because at the end of the day, psychology is science, one. And we all have brains. We can all agree to that, right? And these brains do stuff, if you didn't know. And just like everything else in our body and in the world in general, sometimes things can go not so right, or there can be present challenges. And sometimes certain people's challenges are greater and different than others. Whoa, what is the big deal? And then you look at it from family or cultural perception. Some people much rather just completely ignore the issue. And apparently they read somewhere or somebody told them that the longer you ignore it, the more it'll go away. When little did they know, the more you ignore it, the bigger the problem grows. I mean, it's not like a pimple where it'll grow and then eventually pop. It's a pimple that will grow, pop, and all that mess is going to go everywhere and stay there permanently. And it'll grow some more and pop, grow some more and pop. Like, and those pops are those mental breakdowns. Those pops are when these people just simply cannot take it anymore. Because what did they do? They ignored the problem. And then there's also the perception of, well, you could just pray it away. Or you could just, listen, I am in no shape or form denying the presence of God. But I also am a strong and firm believer that God wants us to take accountability for our own actions. You have to learn how to be your own savior, your own hero. You have to put in the work. You have to acknowledge the issue at hand. And you have to stop being so afraid. Stigma is rooted in fear. People are afraid of what they don't know. And I know we've all heard that before. And then I also wanted to point out the perception of, the public perception of it, which is kind of like the societal perception, but not really. I was specifically thinking about how, and this goes for my parents, please raise your kids, because kids can be mean to other kids who are going through their own challenges, and adults can be mean to other adults who are going through their own challenges. And for some reason, instead of sending love and support or comfort, they rather bully and tear someone down and walk over their pain. And that will in no way, shape, or form ever be okay with me. Especially because that hits home personally. And I tend to become speechless in the idea of how people would rather turn their cheek and look the other way or hurt someone else by being mean to them about it, when this person or people are going through things that they can't control. They barely even understand what's going on or why, and they just want an answer, let alone support. Really, they just want to be left alone. And I'm here to let you know, if any of this hits home, that I get you. If nobody around you gets you, I get you. I know what that feels like. But hey, you're here right now, meaning you're strong. You're looking for change. You're looking to create a better situation for yourself, a better reality for yourself. And I think that that's amazing. I think that you're an icon. And I think that the fact that you haven't given up on yourself yet goes to show just how powerful you are and how powerful you are going to become. You see, stigma is so ironic because the audacity of people to look down or in someone else for a situation they're going through that they can't control in disgrace or in judgment. It's so freaking ironic because I guarantee they're going through something too. Nobody's immune to mental health. I mean, come on now. It's like being immune to an arm. Mental health exists. Your arm exists. Okay. It's either you can have good mental health, healthy mental health, that's self-awareness, that's positive thoughts, or you can have negative, or not negative, but poor mental health. And that is characterized by negative emotions, thoughts, an inability to control those intrusive thoughts. Self-harm. I don't want to go, you get how that can get worse. Nobody's immune to that. And it's so funny because the people who talk down like, oh, what is that? Or what is a bipolar disorder, or what is this? That isn't. They're running because they're afraid. And I guarantee they've experienced one variation or another of certain mental challenges. And if anything, it scared the crap out of them. So they prefer to just ignore it ever happened and move on and deal with it pretty much on a day-to-day basis, but act like they're not, instead of just facing it and rising above it. Because, honey, even stress is a part of mental health, if you didn't know. And no human can escape the existence of stress. We're all going to go through it one way or another. I mean, have you been in this world? And depending on how you choose to acknowledge your confrontation of stress determines how it will react and sustain itself in your life. It'll either grow and feed off of your doubt and your fear and your naivety, or it will be depleted and subsided and be minimal because you're being strong and you're choosing to be aware and you're choosing to learn how to rise above that stress. It's not going to go away until you do what you need to do to figure out how to make it go away. And then there are certain challenges that don't even ever go away, and you have to learn how to live with them. But at least you're learning. As I just previously said, stigma is fear-based. So when you think of fear-based, think of all the emotions that tie into fear. We have shame. We have doubt. Even shyness or disacknowledgement. Those are all branches of fear. And shame, doubt, and disacknowledgement are the main contributing emotions that you see attached to the word stigma. Remove fear. Don't allow it to control you. You'd be surprised how cloudy your mind can get, or has already been, just because the whole time you were afraid, or they were afraid. Learn how to rise above it all. Learn how to be sure in yourself. That's why our last episode, How to Be Yourself, was so important. It instilled and taught and spoke of knowing how to be your true self. Because when you are knowing that you are maintaining your true self, you can then be more sure in yourself. You can then be more confident in yourself. It's easier for you to stay focused on your road, not caring about the perceptions and the opinions and the inputs of everyone else. Looking forward in your lane, in your road, for your life. I encourage you to break the stigma, even if it's only in your own mind, and be strong in your stance of breaking that stigma, because there is no need to be ashamed of mental health, of your health. Anyone who would ever dare to talk down or make fun of you or your challenges that you are overcoming, they're scum. And they're simply afraid. People rather wear a mask and live in a lie and put t-shirts over the wound instead of cleaning the wound and dressing the wound and allowing the wound to heal. They rather lie to themselves. They lie to themselves, and then they lie loud outwards to everyone else. And the followers just follow. But you're a leader. You lead. You're strong in yourself. You know that there is more meaning to life than the surface level perceptions that we all see on a daily basis. And I'm proud of you for that. I'm proud of you for staying strong in yourself. And I'm proud of you for wanting change. For those of you who are still a little bit afraid of just owning up to your challenge, it's okay. And nobody's asking you to get on IG Live and say, hey, I'm depressed. Because honestly, the people who get on IG Live and cry, I mean, they're kind of weird too, huh? No offense, but why are you crying on IG Live to your followers, baby? If you don't go write in a journal, if you don't go sit down and meditate, if you don't go breathe, come on now, baby, not the followers. Not you giving people something to laugh at. Not you feeding the negativity. Because we all know how that goes. Don't do that. Don't go out sad like that. Be your biggest asset. Make smart decisions. Look out for yourself. And remove that stigma from your mind and your heart. That way you will have nothing to be ashamed of. And more people will follow your lead, our lead. And they will learn that mental fitness is something to be proud of. Mental fortitude is something to be proud of. Self-awareness is something to bathe in. And baby, I'm over here bathing in it. I want you to do the same. This episode isn't going to be too long. The stigma doesn't need to be something that is too deeply dived into. I feel like it's not even that deep of a conversation, although it can be. I simply wanted to address the simple fact of who cares what they think. If people want to be naive, let them. If people want to wear masks, let them. If people want to create a false reality, let them. We're over here being aware. We're over here living in our truth. And we're over here creating our realities. The real realities. What we wake up to every single day. And I'm proud of you for that. All I'm saying is, the stigma ain't got nothing on you. And it may never break, because there will always be people who are afraid. But at least you broke yours. And watch how you finna ball out. So, for my disclaimer, I know there may be some people who think I'm perhaps relate the message poorly, or they just simply didn't relate to what I was trying to say, and that's okay. But I guarantee there are many more who did. And I guarantee that maybe it's just not your time right now, but later on in your life, you will hear a similar message, and then it'll click, because we all have our own timelines. This episode is a call to break the cycle of shame, of biasness, and of silence. Be loud in your overcomings and overcome them with peace and joy and pride. I want to leave you guys with a quote that I really like by Thomas J. Watson, and it says, "Follow the path of the unsafe, independent thinker. Expose your ideas to the danger of controversy. Speak your mind and fear less the label of crackpot than the stigma of conformity." Meaning, you can call me crazy every day. I'd rather be crazy than conform. I'd rather be the shepherd than be the sheep. I'd rather be the leader than be the follower. And I'd rather be me than be you. Life is slippery, so I'm hoping that I'm helping you establish trust within me so that you may feel comfortable enough to be able to take my hand. I am deeply honored and incredibly thrilled to be raising awareness and nurturing the connections between the mind, body, and soul with you. I know how valuable your time is, and I appreciate you for allowing yourself to spend some time with me, Lauren Ashley. The goal is balance within. So you know what I say? I say, let's heal together. I'll see you guys next week. God bless and take care. Please note that this podcast or any other resources from Kokoropsyche.com should not be replaced with professional mental health care. If you feel you would benefit, please reach out to a provider in your area. Have a beautifully blessed and purposeful day. And thank you for supporting Kokoropsyche.com. I'll see you guys next week.